Get ready for our first bout of the evening from the pit at Albuquerque. Laurent Boudouani of France making his second defense of the WBA Junior Middleweight Championship against #1 rated Guillermo Jones of Panama. Here's the challenger, long and lanky, Guillermo Jones. Despite his wiry physique, he has knockout power. I've seen tapes of him where he has utterly pulverized opponents, but I'm just not certain about his level of competition with all of his bouts taking place in Panama and Venezuela. No recognizable opponents, difficult to verify. Ferdy, he is still a mystery, and tonight should be a truer test of his abilities.
Yeah, well, the ability is going to come when you look at a guy at 6'5" who's got a tremendous jab and a hard right hand and a big knockout punch. That is a tremendous challenge tonight. I look for this to be a very even fight with a waft of the air of an upset floating around here above 13,000 people.
He soared all the way to #1 in the rankings, and he will take on the champion tonight. Laurent Boudouani won the title in '96 with a 5th-round KO of Julio Cesar Vasquez in France, his first world title shot. His only defense, a decision over former world junior middleweight champ Carl Daniels last year. Those are the biggest names on his ledger. More recently, won an 8-round decision over Kevin Pompey in December, a non-title affair, currently on a 12-fight win streak. And Bobby Ches, the champion, seemed almost blasé about Jones when we met with him yesterday. Could he be underestimating the #1 contender?
You know, Steve, obviously, I don't know what's going through his mind, but sometimes that does happen. A man doesn't stack up on paper, as Jones does not, to the likes of a Boudouani, and maybe he's looking past him, but I'll tell you what, he's got a great chin, a good, durable body. He hits hard with both hands. It's going to be a terrific fight. I don't think the champion's looking past him, and if he is, not by much.
All right, Bobby, let's check the numbers as we go to the tail of the tape. The champion, Boudouani, is 6 years older than Jones. Could factor in a 4-inch height advantage for the towering Jones. Boudouani listed at 6 feet. He might be both under the weight limit, and a big 5.5-inch reach advantage for Jones, the challenger, at 76.5. Key rules for this championship fight: no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. Now, if the fight is stopped by an accidental headbutt before the end of the 4th round, the fight is ruled a technical draw. If it happens after the end of round 4, they go to the scorecards. So here at the pit on the campus of the University of New Mexico, getting ready for the WBA Junior Middleweight title fight, Laurent Boudouani and Guillermo Jones, we get the formal introductions from our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you. We welcome you to the University Arena, the Pit, here in beautiful Albuquerque, New Mexico. Well, fans, we have a big night of action coming your way this evening, all brought to you courtesy of Don King Productions and St. Ides. This bout coming away, we present the first of our world title attractions. It is sanctioned by the World Boxing Association, the president, Gilberto Mendoza, supervisor in attendance, Lopez Silvero. This is along with the New Mexico State Athletic Commission. At this time, we present our judges scoring this bout from ringside: Jesus Cova, Nefi Quintana, and Bernie Soto. Now presenting our referee in charge of this bout, he'll be giving instructions after the introductions, Al Martinez. All right, fans, here we go. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBA Junior Middleweight Championship of the World. I introduce to you first the challenger. On my left, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the colors of Panama, white trunks with red and blue trim, and joining us from Colon, Panama. He weighed in at 153 pounds with a fine record of 22 wins, 1 loss. He has 19 big wins coming by way of knockout. Here is tonight's challenger, ranked at WBA #1 junior middleweight contender, introducing Guillermo El Felino Jones. And his opponent across the ring is the defending champion. On my right, fighting out of the red corner, entering the ring in the colors of France, blue and white trunks with red trim, fighting out of Grenoble by way of Salange, France. His weight 153 1/4 pounds. His outstanding record includes 36 wins, 2 losses, 31 wins coming by way of knockout. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, he is making the second defense of his title, introducing the WBA Junior Middleweight Champion of the World, Laurent Boudouani. And once again, the referee in charge, Al Martinez, now to give instructions.
Bueno, Chief second, a ver aquí. Ok, esto se va a permitir aquí, hasta aquí. Ok, eso está bien ahí. Ok, ya discutimos las reglas, espero que obedezcan las reglas y me obedezcan a mí, ¿No tiene cuestión usted? ¿No tiene cuestión usted? Ok, desen la mano, buena suerte a los dos.
So the instructions in Spanish, Ferdy.
The curious thing is he kept pointing up to the neck of Jones. It's permitted up to here. It's permitted up to, I don't know what, punches up to the neck are permitted in the back of the neck, Bobby?
Well, it certainly wasn't headbutting.
I mean, what was he talking about?
I'm not sure.
Well, he was talking in Spanish, so I wonder who understood it besides Jones.
Well, Boudouani will look to get inside under the long jab of Guillermo. Jones, who has power, 12 of his 19 knockouts in the first round, his 16 KOs in 2 rounds or less, averages only 2.5 rounds per fight. He told us he'll work from the outside against the champion Boudouani, and here we go. Round 1 scheduled for 12 for the WBA Junior Middleweight Championship.
And the most immediate thing you see is with the statistics bore up. Jones extremely tall compared to the guy. He's got the wingspan of an eagle and not a condor. Look at the size of that guy, Bobby.
You know, he's real tall, especially for that weight. He is just tall. There are many heavyweights that aren't quite that tall.
He has bulked up somewhat, but he really was a rail in his earlier fights. 6'4" for a junior middleweight. Very tall. Meanwhile, Boudouani, he's kind of awkward, but he is strong. Usually straight up, straight in, as you can see. He can be inconsistent, lackadaisical, but his manager, Luis Zacarías, told us that he's more focused these days. He realizes, finally, what it is to be a champion, what it is to work.
Well, he's going to have to get inside. He's not going to be able to stay outside like he's doing right now. He can't sit there and watch Jones. Jones has got the range to pick him apart from that area.
He told us in the interview he wants to let these first couple rounds go by. Then he's going to get under that jab and try to work the body. I don't know what he's waiting for. You don't need to let 2 rounds go by to prove what you know. This guy can jab your step.
Boudouani said he'll counter the long jab by going underneath, start at the body, then the face. He has to come at me, said Boudouani. If he wants the belt, I'm the champion.
Well, I'll tell you what, I don't think Boudouani can win the fight going backwards. He doesn't have the style for it. That's not his style. That's not the way he moves.
Yeah, I think that's a conceit also that costs you championships. If you think you got to come after you, you've got a mistake coming. You've got to fight for your championship.
A confident challenger, Jones, burying some uppercuts to the body of Boudouani.
Jones is here to upset this guy. He's here to win. I mean, he's so confident. And when we talked to him, it just seemed like it was a done deal.
You know, his last fight, he won his title back, but he had lost his title to David Noel. He got knocked out in the second round, and he was out.
I know you touched on it moments ago, Ferdy, and I kind of feel the same way. This has the elements of an upset.
It's that soft, gentle breeze carrying it around. Maybe not. We'll see. Maybe not.
Jones trained at Big Bear in California for 3 weeks to acclimate to the altitude. It's over a mile high here in Albuquerque. Bobby, tell us about that as a factor.
Well, I'll tell you what, years ago I trained out in Lake Tahoe, 6,300 feet, and I went there from Jersey, and I couldn't run or do anything like I was doing in Jersey. I couldn't figure out why, and they told me the altitude. The air is thinner up here, the blood is not oxygenated as well. It can be a serious factor, and I'm not sure how long both of the fighters have been here, but if you're not acclimated, it will tell halfway through this fight.
Boudouani trying to get inside, and Jones able to fend him off nicely.
Well, in answer to the question, Jones has been here for 3 weeks in higher altitude than this in California, so that problem is not his. I mean, that's not one thing that Jones is going to worry about.
Boudouani says he's never fought anybody this tall as the bell sounds to end round 1. We have our interpreter, Natalie, to help us us out.
The trainer is saying to him that he has the space just in the body. You know, he just has to go on the body because there is a lot of space over there. You have to be careful, like we said, 3 first round.
Here they're saying you cannot stand still. You got to keep moving. Took the first round good. Keep moving. Keep moving. Keep moving.
Soft-spoken but confident. Guillermo Jones charges out for round 2. In round 1, both men, for the most part, keeping their distance.
Well, in the only fight that Jones lost, he said he kind of just hung his chin out there. The fed a Latin 154-pound title he had, and he won it back by knocking the man out in half the time, 1 round as opposed to 2. But if he was kept on the floor for a full 10 seconds by a relative unknown, what could Boudouani do if he connects well?
Yeah, he said he dared that fighter, David Noel, and excessively confident, and it backfired.
Yeah, he said he stuck his chin out, stuck his hands down, and got clocked. You know, that is what happens. You know, that's a hard lesson to learn.
Meanwhile, Boudouani never down, but stopped twice in 38 fights. He's 36-2 with 31 knockouts, and Jones 22-1 with 19 KOs.
Jones got a little warning for a stiff one.
Jones' first world title shot in the white trunks with the blue and red trim. Boudouani, the champion, backing up in the blue, white, and red trunks.
A little backhand there. And as they told us in Boudouani's corner, they're just going to do this for 3 rounds. He said it in the corner. He says, keep doing this for 3 rounds. And go down to the body because it's a big target down there. But the target keeps moving. It is not. It's a long target, but it's not there when he punches. See? He's missed by a great deal.
We know what happens, too, is Boudouani's bringing his head up before he throws the punches. He's got to stay down and bring the punches up as he's rising, not stick his head up and then swing. He's going to get his head taken off there.
Jones has knocked an opponent through the ropes, clear out of the ring, hammering overhand rights 3 in a row. I mean, he just pummeled this guy. In another fight, he knocked his opponent out cold, put him out completely. But we just can't be sure of his level of opposition. Good countering right hook by Jones.
Boudouani landed his first good body shot to him, followed to the head. So now we'll see what Jones is made of.
Yeah, he got hit good. He got gone that time, but he seemed to take it well. Took that one well. That's the first good offensive movement I've seen from Boudouani. First good one, solid.
Boudouani going to the body, but then he ate a countering right hook. Good footwork by Jones, who's a former soccer player who wants the world title, wants to stay in boxing for only 3 more years. He's only 25, and then retire.
He's taking sports by halves.
Yes.
Soccer in bottom half, and now boxing the top half.
He wants to study at the university and start his own business. Well, he's looking to get down to business here with that long left jab.
Boudouani's not working his way in behind the jab for any style on the inside. He's not really making any moves. He's just swinging up high, hoping to catch Jones like that with that left hand. With that kind of range, it's not going to be that easy.
And he's losing points.
Once again, Natalie, our translator.
You have to breathe. When you are making in the body, it's the right way. You have to have your feet well done on the ring, and you have to follow the body.
Boudouani gets that left hook in, but look how quick Jones recovers, comes in with a smashing right counter, and that equal that out.
Well, round 3, Boudouani's most effective punch has been the left hook. He scored with a couple of them halfway through round 2. A couple of good countering shots, and there's the left jab by Jones. Jones from Panama looking to become the first junior middleweight champion from that country since the great Roberto Duran back in 1983 and 84. Duran is in attendance here tonight.
Boudouani seems to be looking for something. Seems to be sitting on a right-hand counter. He's throwing predominantly hook counters right now in the first 2 rounds. I think that he's setting up for a right hand now.
He's got to do something, Bob. He can't win. He can't keep the title going back. And he certainly, you don't just give away the first 3 rounds. I mean, that's being cocky.
I think it would be absolutely crazy to do so.
And you let...
Now things really getting rough as Boudouani comes straight in on Jones, but Jones weathering that storm.
Jones defended it well, but Boudouani's got to do more of that. He's got to rough him up. He's got to get him in a fight. Right now, he just keeps going back. That's not going to do it for him.
A lunging left hook that missed by Boudouani.
Boudouani's got to come in behind the jab, stuff 2 or 3 up in the air, back Guillermo Jones up to the ropes, fire the right hand to the body, and then come up to the head. Work your way in, get yourself in position.
I think what you just said is exactly true. Work is the thing. He's got to work his way in. He is not working his way in. He's trying to take cheap shots, and it's not working for him.
Leaping his way in from the outside first is clearly going to be a bad thing.
He's got to work his way in. That's the key word. Work your way in.
Guillermo Jones looking to set up his explosive right with that long left jab.
Well, if he lands, it's going to be bad news. Right now, he's missed most of the right hands he's thrown, but he has nailed him with a lot of left jabs.
There it is, a straight right by Jones, almost on cue.
And he got Boudouani's
another straight right by Jones.
Boudouani in trouble. He got him in trouble with the first punch.
Boudouani momentarily dazed, trying to shake it off. 2 straight hard rights by Jones.
That's what happens, Steve, when you stay on the outside. You get caught in the tail end of those big shots.
We asked a question, what would happen when that right hand hit? We found out it shocked and amazed Boudouani.
And Boudouani, though, with a terrific chin.
He's going to have more than a chin to get through this night.
Boudouani has to compromise Jones by decreasing the reach and the range. He's got to close the gap, get inside, and neutralize their reach.
That long reach has certainly become a factor.
We approach the final 10 seconds of round 3. A huge one for Jones. But the game, Boudouani battles back with left hooks to the face.
Luis Zacarias is telling him that he has made the 3 rounds now, and now he's going to go down, you know, on the speed, because we know that Jones has less, you know, after.
Well, that advice is pretty good. Cut down on the speed, get down on your legs to start the fight, get down on your feet to start the fight. Well, that's the advice he should have had from the first round. And right now, he's behind 3 rounds to nothing on my card.
I got the impression from the corner of Laurent Boudouani that they think that Jones slows significantly after the 3rd round.
A quick left hook by Boudouani that scored to the face of Jones. The champ ran into trouble with about a minute left in round 3, electrifying this big crowd in Albuquerque. Let's see if the challenger can keep up the pace. But Boudouani came out strong. Another left, but that one was blocked.
He's punching with a lot more power, though. He's trying to cut that gap that we know that territory between there is too wide, and that big, long jab is keeping him up. He's got to get in close, and when he gets in close, he's got to punch hard. He's just starting to do that now, is the champion. Now, he should have punched in.
It's a terrible range for Boudouani to stay at. He's staying at the tail end of the punches of Jones. Jones can land the right hand, the jab, and Boudouani has to reach and jump. Although there he did well.
Boudouani coming on. Overhand right by Boudouani that landed to the head.
down and punching now. He's throwing bombs. He is after his man. The champion looks like a different man.
He's still looking for one punch at a time. It's not going to work that way. He's got to stay inside, keep the pressure on.
A smacky left hook by Boudouani, the champion, versus the #1 contender.
Well, he certainly has slowed Jones down a little bit. That's a different Jones now. He's looking at him with a different respect.
Not only that, but Jones is backing up. You notice that's a big difference.
Boudouani finding his target more and more with that left hand. Here it is again, followed up by a straight right. A combination to the head by Boudouani.
Good combinations by Boudouani. Two good combinations. Solid punches.
And you watch, Boudouani's working in behind the jab, setting up the combinations, bringing Jones's hands up and keeping something in his face.
Good round. Solid round for the champion, Boudouani.
Boudouani able to bounce back a straight right hand. It did not have full impact by Boudouani. It sounds like a bull ring in here, almost as the fans are chanting "Ole."
Yeah, they're into this fight, and you can see why. The champion decided to take matters in his own hands. At the bell.
You have made a good job in that round. It's perfect. It's a good job.
Boudouani decided to take advantage of his corner's advice, and he comes on. Now watch the stiffness of his punches. And not just one punch, but a combination. And then he's right on top of him like a leopard. He's not going to let him go. It comes a long, leaping left hook and landing. And look at the expression on Jones's face.
And here you clearly can see Boudouani's got an agenda now. He's countering, he's coming in, throwing harder punches. He's being stronger with his body, keeping more force, closing the gap, coming in behind the jab and combinations, something he clearly didn't do in the first 3 rounds.
Boudouani really asserting himself during round 4, his best round of the fight. We enter into round 5. It's scheduled for 12 WBA Junior Middleweight Championship.
There you saw Boudouani started right out, coming in behind the jab.
Boudouani fighting like we've seen him. When he gets going, he is something to see.
Yeah, right now he has bad intentions on most of what he's throwing.
Yeah, right now he looks like a champion.
His second.
Where's the jab? Where's that hard jab? Where's the hard right hand afterwards? He's just kind of amazed at what's happening to him. He better get that jab going. He better get something hard for him.
Jones has never been in a fight like this with somebody of this skill level.
See, those are very, very easy punches. Very easy. Almost feel them out punches. He either hasn't got that sting anymore, or he's just not sure where he's going to hit.
You'll notice, too, look at where Jones is keeping his right hand. He's bringing it forward more, which means automatically has less leverage, less power. He's not cocking it like he did in the first 2 rounds, where he had a lot of confidence.
Well, I think he got caught a few times, and confidence goes as you get hit hard. Yeah, that's behind the head.
The warning from Al Martinez. Yes, excuse him what?
Excuse him what? He said very politely.
Again, Boudouani on the retreat. Let's see if he comes forward.
Now, Bobby, why in the world would this guy resort to walking around away from him when he's had such a great way with him the fight in the round before?
You know what? Right now, it appears as if Boudouani's trying to pick and choose his spots to attack, that he can maybe time Jones.
Triggered by a right uppercut. Boudouani scored well in that flurry.
So right now, Jones isn't pressing hard, even when Boudouani's backing up. He's not throwing a stinging jab, right hand, or any combinations. So Boudouani can relax and look around for what he wants to do.
Yeah, but he's doing that.
Boudouani blocking those punches beautifully, then coming back with the left hooks. Boudouani able to slow Jones down. After Jones looked impressive with 2 straight right hands a few rounds ago. Good right hand by Boudouani as we head for the belt.
Fue el aire, por ahí.
¿Cómo están?
En la cabeza.
Fue el aire, echa el agua, Ruiz. Fue el aire.
Cuidado con la cabeza.
Sí, él lo tiene en la cabeza. Fue el aire, ¿ok?
No haciendo aire.
Bien. Hay que meterle un par de bombazos abajo con la izquierda. Y tú ves con el duro la mano con abajo. ¿Ok? El Joy pega la
Mover
abajo.
lo que él se está cansando, mover lo que él se está cansando.
Y tiene que ser primero, está demorando mucho, pero no te está tirando a la derecha. Y camina para tu lado derecho. Y tiene que meterle la mano izquierda abajo y arriba.
Going to the right, you got to throw that left hook.
Dame agua.
Dale agua.
Give him water, he says.
¿Ok, Guille? Y tú le soy yo. Que para el hombre con los golpes abajo, ¿qué pasó? Toma agua, protector. No, están
They're
muriendo.
not happy with him not going to the bottom.
Mueve y abajo.
Jones has been past the 5th round only once in his career in 23 fights. This is round 6. Boudouani's left eye began to swell up in the 5th round. We'll see if Jones tries to target it as we enter round 6.
You know, the fact that he's only been past the 5th round once is maybe something that Boudouani's corner was targeting when they said, let him go, he'll get tired, he'll fade.
Boudouani with a lot more experience in the later rounds than Jones.
Boudouani's fighting confident. I mean, you know, he seems to know that he's in command when he wants to take it. He just hasn't done it yet.
I still think if Boudouani's going to use fatigue as a factor, he has to press the issue more. He has to force more damage, force more body work, force more of the pace.
Our interpreters just told us that in the corner they told Boudouani, force him back. He can't fight going back. He's in trouble, he's shown.
Wicked body shots by Boudouani on the inside, and Boudouani able to push Jones back more easily now as opposed to the first 3 rounds.
You heard Jones with a pretty good left hook, but Jones seems to have recovered.
You know, Jones is fighting like a guy that's waiting for the ceiling to cave in on him. You know what I mean? It's like a guy standing under a mountain waiting for an avalanche. What happened to his first 3 rounds planned? It's gone.
He just got hit with a good right hand. He seems to be tiring and tiring badly.
Oh, a good powering left uppercut by Jones out of nowhere.
But after a strong combination by Boudouani. Boudouani's in control here.
He is in command, and these punches have to be having an accumulative effect on Jones. It's not accustomed to taking this kind of a beating. Boudouani having his way. Those jabs by Jones being blocked. The countering left hook by Boudouani. That connected. Right up
He's working nice on the inside, Steve. Left hooks and right uppercuts. He's mixing it up nicely.
Boudouani's game plan coming to fruition. Work to the body, then to the head, straight left.
He walked into a right hand too, Steve.
Yes. All Boudouani.
Boudouani is swarming, and Jones doesn't know what to do about it.
Tremendous pressure by the champion. And Jones is cutting. Those were lazy punches.
Vamos a atacarlo. Fue el aire. La cabeza. Échale agua en la cabeza, Rubén. Fue el aire. Guillermo, no camine mucho. Él me está con la medida.
Fue el aire. Vamos, recupérate.
Trata de tirar primero tú.
Hay que ponerle huevo a Tobilla. Vamos a ponerle huevo a esta cosa.
Well, in 3 weeks, King Vision and SET present a pay-per-view broadcast featuring legendary Mexican Julio Cesar Chavez, who takes on Miguel Angel Gonzalez for the vacant WBC super lightweight title. Also on the undercard, Ricardo Lopez, the WBC 105-pound champ, faces WBA 105-pound champ Rosendo Alvarez in a unification bout. And WBC women's lightweight champ Christy Martin takes on Donella Summers. Catch this exciting championship triple header live on pay-per-view from Mexico City, Saturday, March 7th at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Round 7, and Boudouani comes out hard. Halfway through the fight. How do you guys have it unofficially?
Well, I got it dead even, 57-57.
No, and I have it 3-2-1. I still give Jones the edge here. I called the 5th round even. I thought that Jones did enough, and Boudouani slacked off just enough to let the round be even.
So Boudouani coming on, but the championship's still up for grabs.
It's just that Jones in the corner seems exhausted. His corner is telling him to suck it up. You got to get tough. You've got to forget about being tired. The more you mention being tired to a fighter, the more tired he gets.
Boudouani getting the better of that exchange.
Boudouani's leaping in from time to time with some big shots. If he gets caught with a leveled right hand, he could have himself some trouble.
It's just there's no pepper on those punches. There's no sauce on those punches. It's just they're gentle punches on the part of Jones, whereas there's thunder on the part of Boudouani.
But he's coming forward again, and Boudouani's letting him take the play away from him.
I don't know why he does that.
Jones telegraphing that right hand that was effective earlier in the first 3 rounds. He is just exhausted. He's taking a lot of punishment here. Midway through round 7, Jones has been past round 8 only once, in case you are keeping score at home.
Nice combinations by Jones. Worked a couple up top, threw a left hook to the body, even though it wasn't a solid shot. They connect well. Real nice combination.
Good doubling up with the left hook by Boudouani. These punches are landing.
And it's not just one punch, but many punches on the part of Jones. Jones has got a machine going right now.
He's got his rhythm back for your right.
Because the other guy let him. Because Boudouani let him get brave.
Straight right hand, countering left hook, and uppercut by Jones.
Boudouani's still throwing 1-2 at a time, and that's it.
Boudouani showing his chin there with that left hook by Jones.
Jones is hitting him, just that he doesn't have anything on the punches. If he had zip on the punches, this could be a different fight. But he hasn't.
But Jones is game. Yes, he is the #1 contender according to the WBA, but it's his first title shot. And he has fought virtually nobody prior to tonight.
He's doing all right for this round.
Well, coming up next, our main event, the homecoming, as Johnny Tapia returns to Albuquerque to defend his WBO and IBF junior bantamweight titles. We go backstage into his dressing room. Here's the champion, who has done a complete about-face following a drug and crime-ridden past. The support he gets from the folks here in Albuquerque, overwhelming. A city that was on the threshold of disowning him just a few years ago. Tonight, the acceptance of Tapia by his hometown reaches new heights as he meets Rodolfo Blanco upcoming in our main event.
Et quand tu touches une fois, suis avec la droite, ok? Souffle bien.
You have to follow like you are doing right now. You go ahead of him. You don't let him come to you. You know, you have to go.
Allez. Allez, on y va. On y va, champion. Là, maintenant, tu vas y aller, là, hein? Le tabouret.
Round 8, scheduled for 12. WBA junior middleweight title fight.
his corner senses what happened there is he let him back in the fight. Boudouani let him back in the fight. Let Jones get strong. Let him get confident. And now he's got to turn it back around again.
And Jones with a second win. Let's see if he can pick up where he left off from the last round.
He certainly punched enough and he landed enough last time. There were whispery little punches, but he's punching much harder now.
He's trying to measure out that left jab to set up the big right again is Jones. Jones on the right of your screen. The #1 contender.
Low blow.
Boudouani's just not putting the punching pressure on. He's not throwing the punch. He's not making Guillermo worry about anything.
Well, we said this at the beginning that he is inconsistent, Boudouani. Sometimes gets lackadaisical, lets guys off the hook, and we're seeing another example.
You're seeing Jones land 6, 7, 8, 9 punches, not answered. And when it's answered by one thumping shot, it doesn't neutralize 8 or 9 punches that landed. So you're looking at Jones stealing the round with his powder punch pumping right now. He just put them in there.
No knockdowns in this fight.
He's keeping the pressure on now, but he's just not blocking and slipping. He's walking into the punches, and they're all landing on his gloves, on his face, on his shoulders, on his head, and the champion's going to lose his title like that.
Yeah, because he's not doing anything back. I mean, just coming forward, it doesn't give you pulse.
Boudouani coming on a bit here, getting the crowd up, pressing the attack. But Jones able to elude most of those punches.
And Jones came back and finished the combination.
And came back and finished strong.
Watch out, the left shoulder move by Boudouani. A no-no.
That is not good. That's not good on either continent.
He didn't do it once, he did it like 3 times.
That is a sign of desperation, trying anything in the book. Not good.
Yeah, we've seen enough desperation in boxing in the last few years.
Oh, yeah.
Keep it straight. Jones doing very, very well again this round. This boxing is as coolly as he was during the beginning, like the first 3 rounds.
And he has gotten his energy back. He's bouncing around. A lot of foot movement. Well, Bobby, we've got some interesting sequential action from this particular championship fight as we go inside the ropes with Bobby Chess.
Well, you watch Boudouani. He's here, he's pushing, he's landing the overhand rights, he's firing inside here too. 2, 3 punches on each side, strong forward movement. This is what he needs to do, but he's not doing it on a regular basis. Here again, he comes inside, rips the uppercut. Strongly he comes in, he makes a solid move, no hesitation, and he lands and he roughs Jones up. That's what he needs to do, Steve.
Sans te précipiter, sans te lancer. Oui, ben tu désaxes et tu accélères.
You have to go, you have to go, you have to make the speed now.
Quand tu avances les mains levées, tu risques rien.
Laurent, when you go ahead with your hand up, you don't have any risk with him, so go. He's only good when he's going ahead, so don't forget that.
That's good advice. What he's saying is you're not doing it with your arms. You got to move in there with your feet, and you got to move him back. And that's the way he was winning those rounds, by moving Jones back and commanding the action with those little short but pumping-like action of his arms.
Thanks again to our translator, Natalie Christel. Boudouani tried to win the last round based on one awkward flurry with about a minute remaining. That is not how he won his championship as we enter round 9.
Steve, I can tell you as a fighter in the past, as a shorter fighter, which I was most of the time, to let a taller man come and dictate to a shorter fighter has always been trouble.
I should have given him more rest than that. That was a very low blow. That was a very low blow. No warning, just a low blow.
Yeah, Jones obviously feeling the effects. A fighter can have up to 5 minutes to recover if he wants.
He didn't get 10 seconds.
I don't think he wants to break his momentum. He's doing well now.
Probably.
Bobby, that's exactly right. When you're doing good, it doesn't hurt. When you're doing bad, so you need 10 minutes.
And he's a smart fighter, is Guillermo Jones, although relatively inexperienced.
And that right hand, my friends, had some bad intentions on it. He's throwing his right hand with power again. His jab is sharp again. He looks like his second wind is in full swing.
And Jones tried to counter with a sweeping left hook, but it did no damage on the elusive Jones.
Oh, look. He's playing with it. He's playing with the left and the right. Jones is bipping and bopping this, and Boudouani is waiting for things to settle down and to nail him. He may wait all night.
Boudouani is trying to time Jones too much. He can't get the rhythm, and he can't get the range, and he can't keep timing him. He's got to just push to it, close the gap, step to his opponent, and just fire.
A very frustrated champion.
He's waiting for luck. He's waiting for Lady Luck to deliver a knockout punch here. Lady Luck may not be here tonight.
Guillermo Jones looking for the upset. Making Boudouani miss. Really showing a lot of movement.
Now, this may not be the time to say this, but you know, Panama, the city, the place he comes from, is a land of champions. I mean, they know how to fight, and it looks like this guy is a good Panamanian fighter.
Roberto Duran, Eusebio Pedrosa, Ishmael Laguna, just to name a few.
And they were 19 and 20 the last time I looked, and they've grown wildly since then.
Boudouani's just not closing the gap. He's not closing the space there. He's just not putting any pressure on Jones, and Jones is allowed to stay out there and box. He's going to win the fight that way.
Well, he's winning the fight this way, and just what he did just then is what's winning the fight, right there.
Well, for those of you with internet access, be sure to visit ShowtimeOnline.com. When you click on the championship boxing link, you'll find stats and information about tonight's card, plus interactive games and previews and reviews of all Showtime championship boxing events. That's all on ShowtimeOnline.com.
No vamos a estar brincando tanto. No te van a brincar. Ataca más.
Faltan 3 asaltos nada más. Tenés que ganar estos asaltos si querés ganar el campeonato. Si no, lo mantiene.
Y más golpes, este no está nada. Este no tiene que atacar este hombre.
Tirarle duro.
Y duro, Guilla, ahí con él abajo duro y será con los ganchos. Es que trae más los ganchos de izquierda.
Hooks to the body. You won the last 3 rounds. You got the championship.
No, con él y que trae más los ganchos de izquierda vaya arriba, hombre. Okay?
Throw those hooks and throw them low. There's Roberto Duran, the great Roberto Duran. Hands of stone.
Many feel the greatest lightweight of all time. And this man here from Panama looking to become the first from that country to win the WBA Junior Middleweight Championship since Roberto Duran in '84. Round 10. Jones continues to frustrate the champion. His movement, his jab, and maybe even the altitude are working against Boudouani.
This will also depend on how judges judge championship fights. And I don't care what they say, they're all different. Sometimes they give the credit an awful lot of champion, the credit an awful lot.
A nice left hook that snuck in there by Boudouani.
But that's all, Steve. 1 and out.
Well, there's no question he's got to make his move now. It's no question that Boudouani is beginning to fritter away his championship. He better get started.
He's passing the point of no return. He's got to close it and turn it around now.
Boudouani picking his moments to try to get inside, but he has to be very fearful of that right hand by Jones.
See, right there was a perfect example. He started to make a move and then just walked straight to Jones with his hands up.
This is tape. This is a tape repair.
Wrong corner. Al Martinez has to escort Boudouani over to his correct corner. How about the scoring so far, Bobby?
What do you tell you what? I have the fight 6 rounds to 2-1 even. I think Jones is winning it very handily right now.
Points 87-84. I've got it. So that's more or less the same thing Bobby's got.
I have it 88-84, sure.
So unless we're both crazy, and some nights we are, because the judges look at this thing strange.
We're not in Vegas, are we?
No, we're not in Vegas. That's true.
We're not in Kansas.
So we just saw one of the wrongest decisions ever.
Big leaping left hook by Boudouani. No second and third shot.
Yeah, out of nowhere. A wild left hook that scored. There's another straight left by Boudouani, who's coming on after the
needs to not just take that 1 or 2 clean. He's got to follow up, then go to the body, come back to the head.
Oh, low blow there by Jones. And Martinez seeing it. He cautions the challenger. Boudouani getting back to those left hooks, which worked for him earlier.
Problem continues to be that Jones is doing the leading and Boudouani is going back. Not the way to win a championship, going back like that when you should be coming forth looking for battle. You should be coming forth taking this thing to him.
Boudouani again getting inside with that left hook, but as Bobby points out repeatedly, doesn't follow it up.
He switches southpaw. Boudouani switches southpaw to a right hook and a straight left hand, confused and caught Guillermo Jones.
But Jones comes back with triple jabs.
The jab is such an effective and underused and underestimated weapon. Here's winning a world championship for Jones.
Boudouani cannot think that he can win the title going back. He can't.
25 seconds and counting in round 10. Again, Jones coming forward.
And again, Boudouani going back and not answering with more than 1 punch at a time. Not good. Look at that 3, 4.
Natalie Cristal, our interpreter.
You have to fight him like in amateur. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's all. 1, 2, 3.
Souffle bien. Souffle bien, Laurent.
Let's take a look at Boudouani's comeback. He's trying to make it to let Lady Luck into this game and look for the knockout, but he can't get it. And all the time, Jones goes back to the setup battle to just punches him silly.
You know, he caught that early in that combination, but he switched the southpaw to a right jab, a right hook, and then a straight left. It was interesting. I've never seen him switch before.
That might be a measure of his desperation.
Hey, Bobby, what did Natalie mean in her interpretation when they said to Boudouani, fight him like an amateur?
My best guess would mean that it means just go out there and throw a lot of punches, press it, and be the aggressor. Because that's, the amateurs, that's how they score. Aggressive and punches landed, period.
A barrage by Jones. As we enter the championship rounds, this one has a good chance of changing hands. Keep the punches up, the warning to Jones.
Once again, the thought that we are in the hands of the judges is this a title fight. But by my measure, and I've been watching them for 40 years, you can't win a title going back doing nothing like this. 1 punch at a time, 2 punches at a time, when the other guy is belaboring you with 4 and 5 and 8 punch combination and driving you back.
We have a judge from Albuquerque, Venezuela, and Miami.
By the way, the one from Miami, Bernie Soto, is my barber. Oh, he's my barber. He's a wonderful guy. Hey, but he better get it right, or I'm going to change barbers.
Boudouani does appear to be frustrated. Once again, you can see him every once in a while just slipping in and out of his southpaw stance. I believe he is frustrated. He cannot get the rhythm of Jones down. And he's also right now, I think, very tired.
Jones continues to press the attack.
Along with tired, I would say frustrated. Now he just said something to the referee.
Both fighters have been warned about low blows. No points have been deducted. No knockdowns either.
Nice combination to the chin. Good right, left, right by Boudouani, but it did not hurt Jones, and Jones came back firing.
Well, he needs a knockout. He needs Lady Luck to land on his gloves. Something's got to happen to change this around.
Well, he's got a pretty high knockout ratio. There was a nice left by Boudouani.
But that's all, Steve. Again, Guillermo takes over by countering the counter and then continuing.
One and done. Boudouani has 31 knockouts and 36 wins. We approach the final minute of round 11. He may need knockout number 32 for this one.
He got staggered right there. They got his attention with that left hook. It's like a rising left hook, almost an uppercut. Boudouani's left eye is also getting very red and ugly.
Boudouani really got nailed. And of course, Boudouani's got one heck of a good chin. I'll say that.
It is just target practice for Jones. There's a count
nailed him very well.
He hit him very clean with both of those shots, although Jones rolled with him a little bit. He minimized the power of the shots by rolling his jaw.
And Jones showing he's in exquisite condition as well. Going this deep into a fight for the first time. A lunging left hook by Boudouani, but again, that is it.
Y hasta le metiste una mano que lo pusiste más.
Cierra más con los ganchos duros. Y no ganamos esta tabolita, hay que seguir. El último asalto,
poner todo. Let's look at one of the last charges of the light brigade here by Boudouani. Boudouani, sensing he's back, he's got to come with something hard, and he lands crunching punches. Let's watch them land, but look at the way. That's a great shot right there. Now look at a follow-up, and still Jones comes on. We didn't see this. It's a great follow-up shot to that. Bobby.
Well, Jones is doing what he has to do. Boudouani's trying like with everything he has, but he just doesn't seem in the rhythm. He seems tired. Doesn't seem to be able to solve him whatsoever.
You see the damage over the left eye of Boudouani. Here we go. They touch gloves. 3 minutes and counting, and we could have a new WBA junior middleweight champion at the bell. Boudouani, from our vantage point, needs a knockout. And yet he continues to go backwards.
Yeah, you would think he would charge out of his ring, out of the corner, going all out.
Well, his left hook has been working pretty good. Guillermo Jones' right eye is almost closed. Boudouani's eye, red and ugly. They're landing, both of them.
We knew this was going to be a good fight.
There's a good left hook by Boudouani, but again, one and done.
One and done is the tagline for this fight.
The catchphrase
for Boudouani.
Boudouani, if he has any ideas, just has to stand in there and slug away.
He's got to take his chances. This is it. There's no more tomorrow. This is the last round.
Straight left by Boudouani. Another left hand by Boudouani.
Yeah, but look at all this landing from Jones. You can't hardly call it. Look at that. How could you call it one after the other?
Boudouani continues to be frustrated by the 6'4" towering challenger.
I'll say one thing, he's a punching machine. This Jones, tall and skinny. You wait for him to get tired, wait for him, and he doesn't get tired.
I can't help but think, had Boudouani worked the body for 2 or 3 rounds in the beginning, first 3 rounds, instead of just taking the shots, work the body, will Guillermo Jones be able to do this late?
And Jones very intelligently staying on the outside.
I think one of the big mistakes of any corners is to make a game plan where you wait for the other guy to get tired. I never wait for the other guy to get tired.
I've seen no clean overhand right-hand counters from Boudouani. Most of his left hooks like that. No right hand, so Guillermo only has to worry about one side.
One punch and he can relax.
And then Jones wisely hangs on. We approach the final 45 seconds of the fight. For the WBA Junior Middleweight Championship, we may be seeing a new champion in Guillermo Jones.
And it is in the hands of the judges. We can't say it too many times. In championship fights, strange things happen.
You know, 2 close rounds swung in a different direction makes a whole new fight.
Well, but this guy's so far behind, he ran out of mathematics.
Step back. Come on, let's go.
And all 3 judges are Latino.
You don't want to suggest that makes any difference to you.
In boxing, final seconds of the fight. The crowd showing their appreciation here in Albuquerque. They loved the action.
Well, we thought that was going to be a good, hard fight, and by Jove, it was a good, hard fight.
Maybe you're right, Freddie. Steve, maybe Boudouani just underestimated, looked past this opponent thinking that, you know, he's never been the distance in a championship fight. He's only been past 5, 6, 7 rounds once. Maybe I'll just wait my 3 rounds and close him down. And he couldn't close his man down. He got stronger as the fight went.
We brought it up at the beginning that Boudouani may be underestimating this man, Guillermo Jones. He was very blasé in our meetings with him yesterday about Jones.
He almost as if he wasn't concerned at all. I mean, I'm tired of waiting for tall, skinny guys to wear out. We had a guy named Luis Manuel Rodriguez, another guy named Bayan, who could fight for days and never get tired. And, you know, that's what this guy did.
You saw the badge of courage there over the left eye of Laurent Boudouani. The torch may be passed tonight to Guillermo Jones of Panama. But it is in the hands of Nefi Quintana of Albuquerque, Jesus Cova of Venezuela, and Bernie Soto of Miami.
Here's that fierce action in the last round. Boudouani actually trying to save this round because it could mean the difference between a championship and not, and he's coming on with everything he's got. The difference is that Jones keeps coming back.
Boudouani knows that he needs to close this show out. Here you see the right hand and the pressure. He's just staying on Jones at all costs. Now I have the final score 116-113 for Jones, but I cannot emphasize enough the 2 close rounds swung is 4 points, which would make it 114-113 in the other direction.
I got it 116-113, and I want to tell you, when people are judging these kind of fights that close, it's very, very, very strange.
I'm making a clean sweep from the broadcast table ringside as well, but you know how it takes to grab a championship belt away. It takes an awful lot in the eyes of the judges. You just never know what's going on in their minds. And it's taking a long time to collect the cards.
That's never a good sign.
Oh, that's why I mentioned it. Guillermo Jones finally getting a chance to rest after a long, hard night's work.
Well, I think he did a very, very wonderful job as a contender. I think he came in, he showed his mettle, he showed his jaw, and he certainly can box, and he certainly has resiliency. So we'll see more of Guillermo Jones. If he doesn't win a championship, he'll be back.
His first attempt at a world championship. Meanwhile, for Laurent Boudouani, his second title defense. 2-0 in world title bouts, 36-2 with 31 knockouts overall. Jones 22-1 with 19 knockouts. We are just about set for the official word.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, here are the score totals. Our judge at ringside, Nefi Quintana, scores about 115-114 for Guillermo Jones. Judges at ringside, Jesus Cova and Bernie Soto, both score the bout 114-114, even a draw. The decision is a majority decision draw.
Well, you hear the crowd reaction. They thought Jones won it. It's a majority decision draw.
Politics, politics, politics.
So Boudouani retains the title.
Somehow that doesn't seem right to me. There's a draw in 2 places, and the other guy, Jones, wins. Seems like he should win the fight.
You know what? Majority rules. The majority's a draw.
Yeah. I know that the reason I said it doesn't seem right to me.
Nefi Quintana of Albuquerque had a 115-114 Jones. Jesus Cova of Venezuela, Bernie Soto of Miami had it 114-114 even, a majority decision draw. And our Jim Gray is in the ring, and this should be interesting. Let's go up to Jim.
All right, thank you very much, Steve. Guillermo, let's start with you. Since you had the one card, 115-114, we'll bring in Luis Spada, please, to interpret. What are your feelings on this fight? Do you feel that you won the fight?
Yeah, I think I win the fight, you know. But anything can happen in this world, you know.
You seem to be the man who was charging in, dictating the fight. Did you feel as though you were in control and that he had to knock you out to win this fight in the later rounds?
I think I beat him in all the rounds, you know. It win like three rounds, I think so. But all the one, I win it, you know.
What do you have to say to the judges?
I I think then this might fight, you know.
Yeah. You want to fight again?
Then if the fight come, I fight again.
All right, Laurent, let's bring you in here. We have your interpreter. Did you feel as though you lost the fight? It seemed as though he was dictating the pace and that you had to knock him out in the later rounds. What are your thoughts on this draw?
Je te demande, est-ce que tu penses que tu as perdu ce combat ou que tu as gagné ce combat?
À mon avis, je l'ai pas perdu. Je pense que je l'ai gagné. J'ai donné, à mon avis, les coups les plus nets. On est des professionnels, c'est les coups les plus nets qui comptent. Je ne sais pas d'où vient ce jugement, mais ça fait rien. Je rentre avec ma ceinture, je suis heureux.
No, he think that he win the fight, you know, because he's thinking that he give the more punch, you know, and the best way, you know.
More punch. Let me cut you off right there. He was getting hit 4 or 5 times to 1.
No, but I mean, he give always the punch who hurt, you know, Jones. Jones was punching, but like, you know, just little, you know, like this, you know, like amateur.
In fact, your corner told you to fight him like an amateur. What did they mean by that?
Il a dit dans le coin, il a été dit qu'il fallait lui faire un 2-3 comme chez les amateurs. Pourquoi on vous a dit ça?
On m'a dit ça, c'est pour justement trouver l'efficacité sur mon dernier coup. 2-3 coups pour essayer de faire baisser la garde et le toucher après par un coup plus fort.
Well, the corner tell him that because with 3 or 4 punch, you know, he's going to go down with the hand, you know, and after he can go to the body.
All right, thank you very much. Steve, never a dull moment in here.